So this last weekend, I entered the Box, which was a tournament ran by Le'Veon Bell and Hungrybox, I think in partnership with Team Liquid. $10,000 prize pool, and it was actually, I think, the biggest Smash Bros. Tournament, maybe biggest fighting game tournament ever. There was over 8,000 entrants, although after DQs there's probably a lot less. But it was an insanely big tournament, and I want to talk about it because, content. I also got my new camera a while ago, and I kind of want to show it off because I think it looks really cool. So taking a look at the bracket, round 1 I played generically cool. He let me know that he was a beginner at this game, and so I took advantage of that all I could, getting as many fun jab blocks as I could on this guy. It was fun to play. It's always cool to see people who are a little bit newer to the game entering tournaments and getting involved in the scene. In round 2, I played X-Force 531, who is a Pikachu player. Now, outside of top level, Kirby can actually do pretty solid against Pikachu. I was able to do pretty well, also getting a couple fun jab blocks. Also, he's a subscriber, so thank you for subscribing, X-Force. I really appreciate it. And then round 3, I had to play Air Swimmer. Now, when I was actually looking up Air Swimmer, because I saw them ahead in the bracket, I actually saw that I had searched them up many months ago. So that usually means when I look someone up is I got bopped by them, or I just had a really good game against them. I wanted to look them up, see if they had any tournament history. And so I believe that I got absolutely bopped by them online. I don't know if it was Battle Arena Quick Play or something like that. And I realized I didn't have a good chance of winning this set. So going into it, I knew I was probably going to lose. And I pretty much got down B camped the entire set. So that was a lot of fun. The games weren't even that laggy, it was just that little bit of extra 5 frames of input lag that happens when you play online. Really just makes it so much tougher to get in against Zelda. I did get the power at one point, and it kind of made it a little more interesting, but even then, they can reflect the power back at you, and it really just changes up how they time using their Phantom, and didn't have a lot of success there. So moving into the losers bracket, I had to play Mr. Saturn in my first round of losers. They are a Jigglypuff main and Game & Watch player as well. Now, I actually had a pretty close game against the Jigglypuff. Even though Kirby does very solid against Puff in general, I was really just a rest or two away from losing that first game. But they wanted to counterpick me. They went Game & Watch, who actually does a lot better against Kirby. But their Game & Watch was definitely less polished than their Jigglypuff was. So I didn't have too much trouble there. Then in Losers Round 5, I played Kingdra, who played Ness against my Kirby. I think they were trying to counter-pick my Kirby because it looked like they had played Cloud and Fox before. They decided to go Ness. It was a pretty close game. I wasn't able to land any early kills, so it was very scary. But I did end up just barely winning that one. So then in Game 2, it looked like they went to their main of Fox, and I was actually having some trouble. I kind of relaxed a little bit when they went Fox. I'm like, okay, well, Kirby does a lot better against Fox, but their Fox was a lot more polished than their Ness was. I think they probably mained them, and really was only able to win because I was able to F-smash them from their side B, landing on stage with it, which they then said was because of Wi-Fi, so... Yep. Then I played Juicy Chewy, who is a Ness player. Now, I have a lot of experience with online Ness players, so as long as he played pretty similarly to the other ones, I was going to be fine, and I was able to win that 2-0 and make it to the next day of bracket. So I had to come back the next day at 4:30 to then play. Now, looking ahead to the bracket, I had to play Saint Heavens the next day, who's a Mii Brawler player. He also played a lot of different characters from what I had seen in tournament. And I was a little scared of that because he had also recently beaten another solid Kirby player, but I was actually able to beat the Mii Brawler. It was a pretty even game, but he did SD, and I was able to take an early stock with Kirby, so he then counterpicked with King Dedede. He was able to take Game 2, which was very close, but I was able to clutch out Game 3, and so I was able to take that set. So looking ahead in the bracket, I had to play the loser of Salem and Malisker. I think that's how you pronounce that. Both of those are bad matchups because Salem is like one of the best snakes in the world, which is one of Kirby's worst matchups. And Malisker is a Yoshi player. And I personally hate the Yoshi matchup for Kirby. I have a lot of trouble with that. So I knew it was probably not going to go well. I did play Malisker. I believe I looked him up. I think he was ranked 7th in Mexico City, so he's at least a pretty solid Yoshi player. And we had just some of the most fun games I've ever had. Like, they were super close games, super intense. I clutched out a crazy tech in Game 2, which, like, led me to be able to win that game. And Game 3 was very close as well. I just wasn't able to clutch it out at the end, and so I did end up losing to him, which ended my little losers bracket run. But it was a super fun set. I mean, like, I was not mad with how I played. I thought I played pretty well. And looking forward in the bracket, though, if I had won, I would have played Pufferfish, who's actually a Captain Falcon main, and Kirby does really well against Captain Falcon, so there's a pretty good chance I could have won that one. But then I would have had to play Air Swimmer again, and if that would have happened, I probably would have just DQ'd myself, because I didn't want to put myself through that torture one more time. So my takeaways from the event. It was a lot of fun. I really haven't competed in a long time. It was just really enjoyable to be able to have like some sort of pressure on me while I play, and it kind of made me like super focused, but I played very differently, I found out. I didn't play the kind of like more relaxed play style. I wasn't like throwing out like hard reads and stuff. I was playing very conservatively. My opponents were also kind of playing pretty conservatively. So there were a lot of stocks that led to like really high percents, which I'm not super used to. I kind of like was landing a lot more kills with like forward tilt and just like random like weaker moves or up throw, stuff like that, because I was just playing so safe, which I'm not sure is the right way to do it, but that's kind of just how I tend to play when there's more pressure. I don't want to look stupid by making any like dumb mistakes or anything like that. I guess another takeaway from this would be, if you are playing Kirby and you want to consistently make it far in bracket, you're probably going to need a secondary. I don't think any Kirby could have made it in against Air Swimmer on Wi-Fi. Like, I don't think that was even possible. Like, they would have had to completely outplay the Zelda to be able to even make it a kind of even match. So if you are playing Kirby and you want to make it far, you're probably going to need some bracket luck, avoiding some of Kirby's really bad matchup. Even though I do think Kirby does slightly better online, his even matchups and good matchups are made a little better, but his bad matchups are made way worse. So you really don't want to be playing Kirby in these type of matchups. Now, I definitely could have won against the Yoshi. I could have played just a little bit better and be able to win that. But against like Zeldas and Samuses and Snakes and really anyone else who wants to camp you out, it's not gonna be fun. Like, you are gonna have to play very well against someone who wants to camp you out. So does this mean I'm going to take these like tournaments seriously, pick up secondary? No, probably not. But from what it looks like, a lot of top players aren't going to be entering these type of Wi-Fi tournaments anymore, because I think there's just a lot of stress on them. There's a lot of money on the line, and it really just isn't worth it for them to keep doing this. Especially for someone like MKLeo, who's the best ultimate player in the world, to kind of just be rooted against and really not even be a favorite in these type of things, because there are people who are able to kind of abuse the Wi-Fi mechanics better than you can. But the Wi-Fi meta is just so different from the normal meta, just because it doesn't seem like much of those extra 5 frames are just so huge. Gimmer made a great video recently on why Sonic is so good on Wi-Fi. I didn't even mention Sonic earlier, I forgot about Sonic. You even got players like Spargo, who is like the Wi-Fi guy, who even doesn't want to enter these tournaments anymore. So it's kind of sad. So it sucks that there's so many players that aren't able to compete at a tournament setting right now, or at least a real tournament setting. It was fun for a little while, but we're at the point where people are starting to get a little bit sick of these online tournaments. And Evo being online will just be something else. I feel like that's going to be an absolute mess, but we'll see what happens. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you want to see me enter more Wi-Fi tournaments. The only reason I didn't really stream this one was because my pool is at 10 p.m., and I figured that's probably not going to be a great time for people to watch. And also the other reason was that I didn't want me streaming to be affecting the online gameplay at all. I wanted to have like the best connection possible. Didn't really want to ruin it for anyone, just because I wanted to have people watch me play. I probably still could have recorded just to get my live reaction instead of doing this afterwards, but I did say at the games, I know it's a weird time for the game because there's not really tournaments, and maybe you're already burned down on Wi-Fi tournaments, but if you can, please do your best to support these top players when you can, because this is kind of a weird point for them. It's super stressful for these guys to really try to earn their livelihood on a game that has just such bad online play, and that's really unfortunate. But the best thing you can do is support them, support their streams, do whatever you can to help them out, however you can help them out. I know this is just such a strange time, but I would hate to see this game die off when it has so much potential. I think it's such a fun game. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know this video was a little bit different, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it anyways. Hopefully I'll enter more online tournaments. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe I'll stream them. I don't exactly know. Thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon. Make sure to join the Discord if you're not a part of it already. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.